Hello, beautiful. I'm your host, Nicole Goff. Welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast, the podcast for women who want to live fully embodied, nervous system regulated, open-hearted, radiant, and alive. Here we explore the practices, modalities, and lived rhythms that return you to yourself, to your heart, to your body, your intuition, and your divine spark. This podcast is for women who are ready to awaken their inner creatrix, activate their inner manifester, and remember, an ecstatic life isn't a destination. It's the path we're walking together. Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Ecstatic Life Podcast. I am your host, Nicole Goff, and today I am here with Jen Kohler. And normally I start off my podcast with an introduction based on someone's bio, but I would like to start off this podcast with something special. Your intake was so beautifully written, and it read like poetry. And I'm a poet. And so when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like so beautifully written. And I wanted to actually read the first part of that out loud. And then I'll let you introduce yourself.
Aw, thanks. Okay.
So the question was, what makes your life more ecstatic? And your answer, alignment, synergy, movement, play. Ecstasy for me is when the gears are smoothly moving. It's a daily energetic calibration. It's numerology, timing, guiding my decisions instead of urgency. It's breath and frequency work, regulating my body. It's leading from wealth consciousness instead of pressure. And it's adventure, travel, nature, camping under the stars, dancing in the kitchen, exploring new places, letting my body move, playing, laughing, being outside, feeling the wind on my skin. Flow matters deeply to me, especially as a neurodivergent woman and a mother with a neurodivergent child. When the nervous system is calm, when there is structure without rigidity, when energy is moving instead of stuck, I can access inner joy. Ecstasy feels like coherence. It's when my body, my intuition, my leadership, and my life are moving together. Freedom and fun are not luxuries, but signs I'm in alignment. Boom. Mic drop.
Boom. I love to write.
Yes, I can tell. So me too. And as you could probably tell, I like to do spoken word.
No, I loved that. That sounded so good.
I know you should actually keep that as a poem. Like that was poetry. So yes, I have never opened up like that, but I wanted to honor that piece of writing. And so yeah, if you want to just tell the audience a little bit about yourself now, I would love that.
Hi, everyone. It is wonderful to be here. I am so grateful. My name is Jen Kohler, as Nicole lovingly said, and I have been in business for myself in the healing arts for over 20 years. So I had brick and mortar business. About a decade ago, I came online, and I have been a body worker, a birth doula, massage therapist, Reiki master teacher, quantum energy. I kind of do all of that energetic work. And then where I've really landed now is I am a master numerologist, and I do cardiology, which is really fun. It's one of my most favorite tools. And I love to help healers to build business. That is my thing. I love it so much. So I run a Facebook community, and I have mastermind membership, and I have a little energetic business school that I run as well. And I certify people in numerology as well. So I'm kind of have my hands in a lot of things.
You are also a homeschool mama, am I correct?
I am, yes.
I am as well. And so I am actually super, super, super excited for this conversation because there is so much overlap and alignment with what I am going through personally right now, personally and in my business. And so I'm really excited to actually use this as like a free coaching opportunity for
Awesome. Let's go.
myself today. Just gonna be honest.
I love that.
So I had found myself personally having a little bit of a little tinge. I was like right there on the verge of feeling some burnout symptoms with my business, which is funny because I literally built my entire business on learning to soften into my feminine energy using nervous system healing tools and feminine embodiment and, having this feminine reclamation and then wanting to share that with other women. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I am kind of allowing that same burnout from overgiving, martyring, stretching myself too thin, hustle, push, grind, masculine energy creep into my business, which I was like so in love with and so excited to do. But then I started, doing the business coaching and like, oh, okay, I got to post every day. I got to do this. I got to push and sell. And like, I found myself feeling out of alignment. And so, recently in the last few months, I have personally really been working on stepping back, like literally taking my own good advice that I would give
Right.
a client
Yes.
and
Yes.
soften.
Yes.
And yes, so I know what you're doing now is totally in alignment with where I'm at. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about that.
Love it.
Also, how we balance, because I know this is a new thing for you to balance that like home and work life when you have kids
Mhm.
all around. Like I literally, my toddler was just knocking on the door. I don't know if you could hear it. I pressed the mute button, but he was like,
Did
darn, darn,
not hear
darn.
it.
Yeah. So, balancing this like, kids at home, homeschooling, and working and serving clients. Before we hit record, we were talking about our schedules and how open we allow ourselves to be with clients when we let people schedule. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this and to really see what your solutions are. And I'm like all ears for that. So
Yes. I love it.
I would love to start. I think for me, it always comes back to the nervous system
Mhm.
as the baseline. And yeah, I would love to start like your take on that and your journey with that.
Oh, I mean, I think nervous system is everything. I can really relate to the burnout conversation because I have been running a business for a long time with a neurodivergent child. And I don't think I realized I was neurodivergent, even though I'd been diagnosed with ADHD when I was 19. I'm 51. And never really, I just never really thought that it applied to me. And as I have aged and gone through perimenopause and then had this child with uh, just intense ADHD and potentially being on the spectrum and all the things, my own nervous system started to really waver. And I was like, my God, I teach this. Like, how am I in moving into burnout? Like how, my kid is moving into burnout, I'm moving into burnout, and we take such good care of ourselves. And so just like what you're saying, I was like, I need to become my own best client again, right? I need to pay attention to the advice that I'm giving to other people and to pay attention to my own nervous system and the nervous system of my child, because we were both feeling this really intense burnout. And for me, obviously energy work is like a primary, like I sit down in the evenings and it's like just my automatic, like every single night I sit down after dinner and I do energy work on my home. I do energy work on myself. I do energy work on the family and the dog and all the people in the space. Like that for me is like a daily non-negotiable. And I don't even really think about it anymore. Um,
What
we
does that look like? Like from for somebody that's not super familiar with energy work
yeah.
or Reiki, like on a practical level, what does that look like in the evenings for
For
you?
me, it equals sitting down and like taking the weight off, taking the like putting on my comfy clothes and like really settling into my own energetics, checking in with my own body from head to toe, right? Like asking my body, how did you feel today? How are you doing today? how are your cells feeling? How are your organs feeling? And then I sort of bring in, I bring in the energy, bring in energy through the crown. I do, I do Reiki, so I just naturally like bring in the symbols. And then I symbol every single corner of my home, and I just like energetically clear everything, and just, I mean, that's just energy work, right? And then I like sit with myself and I call in the energy of the universe, source, God, and I bring it in and then I move it out. I bring it in and I move it out. So if you think about like the toroidal field, energy is moving to you, through you, as you fill in the field around you. So the toroidal field just means there's energy moving around you, right? And as we move energy, our resonant field, the morphogenetic field around our bodies, becomes larger. And so then you're filling in that like 9 meters around your body with energy. And then I just move that all out into the universe, right? That's coherence between mind and heart. And we know that the heart is really, really good at moving things out into the world. So we don't want to like keep the energy just in the body. We move it. We want to move. Energy wants to move.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sit for as long as I feel the energy moving, and I like allow it to move into my own body. I think about my past. I think about my future. I think about this moment right now, what is. And then I move the energy back into the earth, back into the ether, back into the unseen. And I think of that as like, what's my vision? Like, what am I thinking about? What do I desire? What did I desire today? What do I desire for tomorrow? What do I desire for the future? Right? That's like thinking about bringing that together, bringing that intention down into the heart space, moving it out into the world. So that is
Wow.
what I do on a daily basis for nervous system health. And I do it very, very regularly. I'm a real sleep person. So at 9:20 p.m., I'm like brushing teeth and in bed. I sleep until 5:30 or 6. I like really I have to take really good care of myself because I
You are
take care of
speaking
a
my
lot of
language.
people and a lot of homes. And I have a lot of like responsibilities in my life, even though I've created a really spacious, free life. I I still have a lot of responsibility because I'm a mama, and so that is really important. I do that with my kid too. So I've taught him, I taught him energy work a long time ago, but we do a lot of like co-regulation. I co-regulate with the dog a lot, you know. Those are some of my that's probably my most important thing that I do. But like as you read in my poetry, I do love to dance. I dance every day. I move my body every day. I think that that's also really important. My family calls it take it to the land. We
As
say,
in take it outside
yeah, like we say,
and
like if
around.
you're feeling
Yes.
frustrated or angry or big emotions or anxious, we say take it to the land. We say it to each other. We're like, oh, you're feeling a specific kind of a way. It's time to get out of here.
Ooh, I like that one. I'm gonna have to adopt that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we like,
Instead of like go calm down, go somewhere, go in your room, go calm down. Take it outside. Take it to the earth. Ooh, I like that. Take it to the
mhm,
land.
mhm, mhm.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. So that's like a big one.
Yeah.
Movement and energy. I feel like those two things are like the most important nervous system things that I do for myself. I mean, I do lots of other things if I think about it, but
Well, what you were talking when you were talking about moving the energy, like for me, I was just getting like the vision. It's like it's such a feminine practice. And so I'm wondering, do you think that because it was I was touching on this like as you're talking, I'm like, oh, I think everyone that I know that is a Reiki healer is a woman. So is grounding the energy is and moving the energy and you obviously you're regulating yourself.
mm-hmm.
And then you're moving outward to the physical environment, the animals, the people, and that is
Mhm.
such like a feminine thing to do that your
Mhm.
energy is touching the rest of your household in that way. So, do you see energy work as a feminine practice? Like, is that work of the female, or this is something that just popped into my head as you were saying it. I'd never thought of it like this before, but
The only male I've ever trained is my child. And he was like born with Reiki. That's how I felt about him. He was born energetic, like he was born telepathic. My husband and I are both very telepathic as well. Um, but my husband doesn't like practice energy work. And I do think it's a really feminine thing, although there's so many male practitioners. I mean, but I do feel like it is a very feminine way of moving through the world. Thinking about energetics, and I mean, they're just accessing their feminine divine, right? They're just accessing that aspect of themselves. Of course, I access my masculine frequently because I run a business, as you were just talking about at the very beginning of this, right? That's
yeah.
a very action oriented experience. I mean, mothering is actually very masculine. It's like telling people what to do and organizing and like action oriented, moving things. I never really thought of it that way until I was sort of on that path. And I was like, oh, wait, this is actually like a really masculine activity because you're like, you're actively mothering, right? You're actively mothering a child, you're actively mothering a community, you're actively mothering whatever, right? Yourself. But I do feel like you have to access, don't you think? You have to access so much of your feminine in order to be in that spaciousness. I don't know. It feels spacious. It
Yeah.
creates this beautiful spaciousness. I can feel it moving out all around me, like feel my field like growing and expanding and evolving out beyond me when I might feel constricted when I first sit down.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I could picture it visually when you were describing it, and it did. Like the energy, what I was picturing was such a feminine energy. And yeah,
Mhm.
when you're talking about the masculine and the feminine energy, we are in our masculine energy in mothering so much because
Mhm.
we're having to essentially create container for these little people. We're having to hold container for them, hold structure for them, and it does keep you in that masculine energy. And that's why I feel like as our female bodies are worn out by holding masculine structure for too long. And I
Mhm.
think we used to have a village that we didn't carry. Now it's like one mom and the house. And so you're holding this masculine structure up for your entire household. And you said, you're talking about your community and your child that you're holding this energy for. It's also your husband, the house, the
Mhm.
animals, the plants, the
Totally.
the garden, everything. So we're holding up that masculine structure all day, and we don't have that community. We don't have that sisterhood to help carry that burden. And
Mhm.
that in and of itself, that alone, without even adding business, starts to cause burnout. And that is where I found myself. And that's where, I feel like so many moms, and especially when you add homeschooling into that, because then, there's there's the whole structure of, creating the day, the education for your children. And I run a
Yeah.
homeschool co-op. So it's like, you're just in that energy of holding it all up all day. And it starts to wear, I feel like, on the feminine body, on the female nervous system to be in that masculine energy all the time. So I can see where I practice like that in the evening. I have my own, my own nervous system tools that I use, and I'm not Reiki trained, but that just seems like such a beautiful practice. I do some EFT tapping,
Oh, I
breath
love
work,
EFT. Yeah.
yoga. Yeah. Even just going out for a walk when the
Yeah.
weather's nice. Me and my family, we live on a lake. We like to go out and take a walk around the lake. Even just that, I like to walk barefoot around the lake so I can ground.
Mhm.
But yeah, to be able to find ways to let that guard down, to let that structure fall away and to get
Mhm.
into the flow is just so important. And that's
Mhm.
literally, like I said, what I've based my entire platform on.
Amazing. I love that. People
Yeah, so
need it.
now bringing it into the business. So,
Mhm.
you said you were starting to feel that burnout, and you started realizing it was affecting your son too. Was that after you brought him into homeschool? Did that?
Yeah, and actually homeschool's very new for us.
Yeah.
So, I yes, he's been experiencing burnout. We just kept trying to make school work. And I wasn't really recognizing his burnout because he is very like hold it together, kind of a kid. And he gets really good grades and he wasn't really struggling in any way. So it just with like school refusal. And so we were, he was home very frequently. And by December, after break, he was like having panic attacks trying to go back to school. And I was like, I'm not going to continue to do this. This is so hard on all of us. Like, this is, and it's just the three of us. So he's an only child. So it was just so hard on my family. And I said to my husband, I'm like, I am in like, I am in full on burnout. I cannot keep doing this. And we're not getting along. Everyone is arguing all of the time. There's all this tension that you can just cut with a knife because, the school is sending you letters and da, 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 and I'm like, I send me letters. I don't really care. Like, I'm doing the best I can. And so I finally like really put it all together. And I was like, we need to pull him from the school. And so we did. I went in, my husband and I went into the school and we said, it's time for us to homeschool. We're going to pull him. And they were like, best wishes. you know?
Well, it's hard enough on a kid. And I've been homeschooling all my kids. I was homeschooled. I'm a big homeschool advocate.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's hard enough on kids that aren't neurodivergent,
Yeah.
that are neurotypical, to
Yeah.
sit down for the amount of time and focus for the amount of time the public school system expects
Yeah.
them to. It's like a full-time job.
It
And
is.
then if you
Crazy.
add ADHD into the
Yeah.
mix, like, of course he was feeling burnt out. His
Yes.
system isn't designed
Yeah.
to be sitting there. And my eldest has ADHD. For girls, though, it tends to manifest, as you know, since you went
Yeah.
through this,
Yeah.
more as anxiety,
Mhm.
and it's a lot less in the body and a lot more in the head. And so, she had a hard time, focusing. She had a hard time with peers, and so I know what that looks like. And we tried different. We tried homeschool. We tried private school. We did Waldorf. We tried different things. We tried online school, and it was always a struggle. Academics were just always a struggle for her.
Mhm. Mhm.
But lost my train of thought.
Well, so far, homeschool is going very beautifully for us. I am loving it. Today, I went downtown and had brunch with my girlfriends, with my tribe. And Wyatt, my son, went to the library and he hung out at the library for like an hour and a half by himself. He's 13. So he like went and checked out books, like did some homeschooling on his computer, explored the library. And then I like just walked up back over and met him. We live in a really great community. And I was like, how did that feel? Like that kind of independence to like just kind of hang out and do your own thing. And he was like, it was awesome. I loved it. And I loved homeschool. And I'm like, he loves homeschool. It's going beautifully.
Oh, that's
I'm a huge
beautiful.
fan. I'm like, okay, let's go. We're doing it. So
That reminds me where I was going with that. that
good.
that kids that have ADHD, their brains think in a brilliant way that the public school system demonizes and squashes, and they take all of that creativity and that out of the box thinking, and they want to just squish it and
Mhm.
turn it into something bad and wrong. And so, yeah, the homeschool environment is so much better for kids that need that spaciousness. They need to be
Yeah.
able to get up and do different things and try different things and come back to something later and, go get a snack And there's just
Yeah.
no room for that in the school system. There's no
Yeah.
room for it. So yeah, that's so beautiful that you guys are able to like
Yeah,
work that
I'm
out.
big
And
in.
so has the burnout symptoms that you guys were going
Oh
through
yeah. We're
alleviated?
like, yeah, both of us are like, I mean, I feel as soon as he like came home, I felt better.
Mm,
I think my mirror neurons were sort of like really like picking up on this feeling that he was experiencing, and so I was just feeling it so intensely in my own body. Now that he's home, I actually feel great, and I feel like as soon as he came home and like we made a plan, like I was like fine. So I think I was just feeling a lot of things that he was feeling. I was really feeling just so much empathy for him, and like really picking up on all of his feelings, and of course then like internalizing them. So now I would say for him, he is really returning to regulation. He is returning to joy. He is feeling so much better about himself, and he has a good like little group of friends from his school, and they're still on a chat together, and they're still communicating, and we're still associated with the school. So like he got to go on a field trip with them the other day. They like went to like an independent film thing, for his science class, and he got to see the kids in his cohort, and they were like, oh my god, like we miss you. So I think that there's like room, and they're actually, the school district here is quite amazing, and they're like allowing us to sort of weave in and out, and so that feels good. Like he still gets to go to choir at the school, and he loves their choir. He loves their choir director. He's amazing. So we're finding our path with them, and it's going to be great, I think.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so uh burnout for female entrepreneurs. That is kind of like your specialty right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I definitely work with for sure. Yes. Yes.
So your burnout was kind of based on your son's situation and your empathy for him struggling in that. But if
Mhm.
you were, say, I was a client coming to you and I'm
Mhm.
like, oops, I accidentally built my business in this masculine way, and I'm finding myself at the point of burnout and I don't know what to do. What recommendation would you give to someone like me?
Well, I would really ask you to zoom out,
Hmm.
to zoom way out, and to see what it is that you truly like actually love about your business, what you don't love about your business, and what you can release, what you can really lean into. Now I use numerology and Astro Egyptian numerology, which is cardiology, to help people to build their businesses. So my hope is that if people were coming to me, they would have already been working with me. But if they did come to me and they weren't building with me previously, I would look at their chart, and we would talk about their identity. Like, who are you? Who are you being? How are you walking through the world? And how are you taking care of yourself? But really, like, how are you building based on who you are? Like, lots of people know about human design. Not as many people use the system that I use, but it's very identity based. So we would really tap into, who are you being? What is your greatest breakthrough in your lifetime, right? Like, I can see what people's greatest breakthrough is, and if they're fighting against that huge breakthrough in their lifetime, then they're probably not feeling very good about what's going on in their life and their business. We look at your like ideal client based on your chart. We can see very specifically who people are meant to be working with. And then I can also sort of see like the path that you take people on, if you will. So I help people to like build out their signature programs, and to really just get really clear on who they're working with and how they best work in the world. So my goal is always to simplify. So like I talk about how many things I do and how many modalities I have and all of that. But really, in reality, like my business is quite simple when I look at it from an like and over, like from a zoomed out perspective. You know, I like love my business because I work, 4 or 5 hours, a week. Like I see clients like 4 or 5 hours a week because I have group programs and I have a membership. And like, so yes, like it takes effort to get those things moving, but that building that kind of an ecosystem is what I would recommend to people, right? So like you want to find you want to always find what you are loving and what you're not loving. And then you want to like simplify. Like there are 6 non-negotiables that you should be working with on a daily basis. My whole goal is never to work more than 3 hours a day in my business.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
One, okay, so I've done the human design and the astrology charts. And so, how does the cartography differ from that? I mean, I hear you saying that it actually shows you that ideal client, like who you're supposed to be working with. And that doesn't seem like it's an aspect of any of the readings I've had before.
Mhm.
So, can you dive a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah, so cardology is like the playing cards. Okay. So it's like a deck of playing cards, and it is from, so it's Egyptian, and theoretically in mythology it is from the Atlanteans. Okay, so the Atlanteans passed this on to the Egyptians. This is the basis of tarot, is the card system.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay, yes.
So when you're looking at someone's contract energy, I would take your date of birth and I would find your contract energy. And then we would start to look at your life path. Okay. So when I look at your life path, with cardology, we can basically see like from birth until your death. It's not like I can tell you the day you're going to die, but like the cards like go for the entirety of your life, and we look at it from the perspective of what did you come here karmically to learn, to
Mm.
move through, like what lessons did you come here to move through, what lessons did you come here to learn, and what lessons or karma did you come here to clear, right? So the whole point of living the cardology system is to really learn how to clear karma in your life, in your business, in your relationships, with your money, with your purpose. So when I look at your chart, I can basically intuit like anything that you're meant to be doing. Now, the reason I love working with entrepreneurs is because they're so open, right? They're so open to what's next. Working with someone in business, I can look more like at relationships or money or whatever. But when we're looking at an entrepreneurial life, we're looking at all of your evolution, all of your growth, right? Like healing and business, like healing is one of the most important business activities that we can do, right? Personal growth and evolution and expansion, money consciousness, being a conscious person is a great business activity. Like if you're not doing those things, then you're not going to evolve and grow into the entrepreneur that you desire to be in the world, because it's rough out there. It's not
Oh
for the
my
faint of heart.
gosh. I
So
had I had no idea like what it would bring up because I owned a cleaning business, and like I've worked for myself since I was 21 and
oh,
got
amazing.
and yeah, when I got pregnant with my first daughter, I had been working in restaurants, and it
Mhm.
was like, well, that's not really going to fit with my new lifestyle as a single mom.
Yeah.
So I
Nope.
started cleaning houses and nannying. So I've been working for myself for 20 something years. But this starting this business, really like I could not believe the stuff it has brought up to the
Mhm.
surface.
Mhm.
And I've run not-for-profits, I've run homeschool co-ops, I've run an art gallery, like, but this particular journey of becoming a coach and putting myself out there on the internet, doing the
Mhm.
social media thing, doing this podcast has brought up so much shit that I was like, I thought I was healed.
It brings up every wound that you didn't know was there,
Everyone
right?
did like the next layer. It's like the onion, peeling back. It's like, oh, there's another layer of
Oh,
like
it's so,
mommy
yeah.
issues I didn't even realize were still.
Totally. And there's so many visibility issues, right? Like you
Yes.
go out on the internet and have to talk into the ether about yourself, like, hello, it's going to bring up everything that you never knew was there.
Oh,
Right.
and the money piece too.
The
It's like,
money, the
so for me, it was
money.
like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, like I didn't realize what a wound I had. Because when I'm like, okay, I'm setting out, I'm setting the intention that I want my business and not for the intention of getting rich, but because I want to touch as many people as possible. I'm
yeah.
like, I'm setting the intention to be teaching to a room of hundreds of women and having workshops that are full of hundreds of women online and like I really want to make a big impact.
Yes.
And then when this money piece came online and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve to charge $1,000 for my time. Like, who do I think I
It's so spectacular,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
gosh, like it was like to the point of like identity meltdown.
Yeah.
Identity like just totally falling apart over this fall. So this is all, like I said, this is all like all this new stuff came up and I'm like, who am I?
I know, it's really amazing, isn't it?
It really is. And I laugh because it's like, I went through all of that with, the burnout and then it was like the healing. And now it's like this whole other layer, this next level up that I'm going through. And so before we get too far off the subject, though, I'm really curious. The cardiology, I think I might have called it cartography, which is
That's
something
okay. That's
totally
another
different,
thing that
by
I
the
can
way.
totally do.
So, but the cardiology, does it work in conjunction with the other modalities? Does it align with the astrology, with the human design? Like, is it all like?
Actually, like the cardiology really aligns with astrology. So I call it Astro Egyptian numerology because we work with Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Pluto. I mean, so we're working with the planets. It's quite different than astrology, but are some aspects of it that are based in astrology. Um, Human design is very, very oriented with numerology. So human design was created with numerology in mind. So I do Pythagorean numerology as the Astro Egyptian cardiology. I don't know very much about human design. It's definitely not my wheelhouse. I went down the rabbit hole of this Astro Egyptian numerology. It's a very, very ancient, it's a very old system. Like I said, it's like mythologically from the Atlanteans. It's been around for a very long time, much longer than human design. So
Mhm.
human design takes many different modalities and sort of brought it together in this sort of personality system, right? So what I love about cardiology that is different from human design, and I've like done some human design. I like know that I'm like a manifesting generator or whatever, but like this is more specific to your karma and like what you're meant to do, like your purpose on the planet, like who you're, like I said, like who you're meant to work with. We can see so many pieces of your life. And so when you're in the system and you're like, yes, you could use it with astrology. Many of my clients, many of my masterminders are major like human designer, like they love human design and they love the astrology. And I'm like, yeah, but like in your cardology, it says this. And I'm like, we're focused on that today.
So sometimes it might not line up. Sometimes there might be like a difference. Like,
Sure. Like, I mean, like projectors, like there's this whole concept about projectors and how you're not meant to like, I don't know, like you're not supposed to like ask for anything, right? Like you're supposed to let everything come to you. I might be wrong about that. I think it's projectors. And like a lot of people hear that advice and then never invite anyone into their business and then wonder why they're not doing well. And I'm like, well, because you do have to take action in your business. You can't just sit back. Like, that's fun. It's great to sit on my patio. I love it. I love sitting on my patio. It is a money making activity, but I then also have to ask for the sale, right? Like, I can't just assume that something's going to come to me and I'm not going to take advice that tells me that I shouldn't make an invitation, right? Like, that's like my main example. But I don't really talk trash about human design because I think a lot of people really love it, and I'm sure there's a lot of really good things about it. I just don't have a lot of like knowledge myself about it. So, but I think that like when, and then the other piece is my clients who love astrology are often like, my astrology is sending me down into the pit. And I'm like, don't let it send you into the pit. Like, just because it's telling you that you can't do something doesn't mean anything. Like, you get to choose. You have free will in your life. Like, don't give it all of your power, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of think that way about everything, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not giving my power away to cardiology. I'm not giving my power away to numerology. I am the energy. I am the
Yes.
energy, and I get to choose, and I do have free will. And so do you. And we all get to have free will and choice on this planet, or theoretically.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole other podcast.
So
Well, I'm
anyway,
I'm super curious now. I feel like I have to have a reading.
I mean, I would love for you to have a reading. We should play.
Yeah, this is one of those things. Yeah, I'm a triple Pisces, and
Okay.
I'm a manifester, so I do
Okay.
but I am one of those people that can very easily hold completely opposite ideas at the same time. I can very easily go both directions. And
Yes.
so a lot of times I do get a bit
A mediator.
overwhelmed and confused on my path, and I
Mhm.
can be very ambivalent because I can see the beauty and the goodness in polar opposites a lot of times.
Yes.
And so, I do wonder, I'm like I'm all in it for women and sisterhood and that's like everything, and then sometimes I'm like men really need help. Maybe I should just be helping men.
Men do need help.
They
Men need
do.
a lot of help.
They do. So, and like I really feel for that, but it's like,
Yep.
it would probably help me to have that like just to see. And again, not to give my power away to it, but
Oh,
I think I have a hard time following that like path because I do see so many branches available. And I'm like, well, what is my karma?
you're multidimensional.
Oh, I'm very multidimensional.
All of my people are very multidimensional, and they come to me and they're like, I have so many ideas. I have so many modalities. I have so many of this. And I'm like, yes, I get it. I am that. I resemble that exactly. And I always talk to people about how do you train your nervous system? Focusing on one thing at a time. It doesn't mean that you can't have a million passions. It's like, but you cannot go two directions at once, right? Like, you're like, I want to go two directions at once, but you cannot literally go north and south at the same exact time. You can't do that. The two of swords tells us that, right? Like, we cannot go two directions at one time. We can do one thing at one time, and then we can choose something else. So it's like, walk your path, focus, be focused on the one thing, get really good at it, and then add in the next thing, right? Then you add in, and then you get really good at that. You focus. So you've got this other thing, you're really good at it, right? You've got a membership. Now you've added in a mastermind. Now what? Now you want to open up your school because it's really fun, right? You're like, now I want to teach. And so then you're like, now I can draw this other thing in, but you have to be good at what you're doing. And I am also a universal laws crazy person. So the universal law of three states that when we do something three times, we have then refined it enough to have created momentum in something, right? So we're creating the momentum that we desire by focusing. So we focus, we run something three times, we add in something new. We focus, we run it three times, we can add in something new. And when we run it three times or we refine it in that way, then we get really good at it. We become more masterful at it, right? Like, you don't just become a Reiki master just because someone like attunes you to becoming a master. You become a master by practicing for thousands of hours, tens of
Mm.
thousands of hours, right? Like, we don't become masterful at anything until we've done it over and over again. And so when I have the multidimensional people come in, which I always do, and I love them so dearly, it's like, okay, yes, and focus. focus. And their charts will always point them to that, right? Like it's always like your chart will always point you to where you're meant to be walking next, if you can see it and pay attention to it. And many people that I work with are living their chart. They may not know it, and they might just need a shift, like just a tweak in frequency, right? It's not like huge changes. It's like micro shifts in frequency to really get refined to where you want to go. That's
Yeah.
that's how
I
we stave off the burnout, right? That's how I moved out of burnout very quickly, I think, too. Right. Like I felt that burnout coming and I was like, oh, I need to make some shifts. I need to shift my frequency. I need to make some changes in my experience so that I don't feel that way. Because I sure don't like to feel that way.
No, once you do the initial healing, which I feel like for so many years I had sexual trauma in my teens,
Mhm.
and then subsequent, substance abuse problems after that. And so my teens and my early adulthood, I was very checked out, very not
Yeah,
in my
traumatized.
body. Yeah, yeah. And so the
Mhm.
healing after I had my first daughter, the healing that I've undergone, like now to feel the difference in my system, me 3 years ago, me 5 years ago, me 10 years ago. It's just such a profound difference that now it's like those refinements, and when you said that, I so feel that because I feel like I'm slightly out of alignment with my mission, or I'm slightly like wobbly with my mission right now at this moment. But it's just these little attunements that I need to make, and it doesn't feel big and overwhelming. It just feels like something that I know what it feels like to be regulated, and I know what it feels like to be dysregulated. And so now when I'm dysregulated, it's like, boo, boo, okay, I see you. Yeah, yeah. I wonder though, so for someone, what's your belief for someone that is just like so far off their path? Like, do you have people that come to you that it's just like they are so out of alignment with what they're karmically here to do? Like, what does that look like? How do you bring someone back? I mean, I guess without a full-on crisis, because I think that's what happens with a lot of people. They're so
Mhm.
far out off their path that they end up having some kind of full, whether it's a health crisis, an accident, something that just shakes them back.
Mhm. Mhm. I saw that a lot in my massage therapy practice,
Mm.
right? Because I would see people who would be in accidents. And I would always say, well, food for thought, like what's happening in your life that the universe is screaming at you to wake up to, right? I would say that I don't experience so many of those people anymore. Um, I don't think I call them in as often as I used to. I think that when I was probably in a larger phase of like not knowing who I really was and where I was going, I called a lot of that in because I felt that rescuer feeling,
Mm.
right? Like if you're thinking about our little drama triangle, I was much more of a rescuer. And so I would be like, oh, I can help you, I can save you. Now I say I can help you, but I mean like to make micro shifts. You know, and I definitely still see people who are off path, but I would say that I call in far more frequently people who are doing a lot better. You know, I don't call in the broken as often as I used to. I
Well,
used to call them.
as a female entrepreneur, everyone that I see in this space, like they've already done a lot of that healing work. So I can see,
Mhm.
yeah, if you're mostly working with female entrepreneurs, in order to get to this spot, you have to you
You have
have,
had to have done a lot of work.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And the people who haven't done a lot of work, I have a lot of Reiki practitioner students that I like would maybe refer them to. But I mean,
Mm.
it doesn't mean I don't love them in my heart, but I just don't call them in as often as I used to, I think. They're not part of my field as much as they used to be, which is kind of a nice noticing,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, that's another probably part of the journey, part of the leveling up.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am curious because this is a like another overlap with us. You worked as a birth doula,
I
correct?
did. Yeah.
Yes. So
Mhm.
my eldest, she had a baby, 2 years ago, and
Aw.
well, almost 2 years ago. He's
How
getting
are
close
you
to
a
two now.
grandma?
I am a grandma. I had her young, and she had her
Yep, yep.
first
Yeah.
young. So, but she was actually in her last year of high school. So her last year of homeschool, I enrolled her into a doula program.
Amazing.
I had most of my kids at home. All of my kids, I had midwives. Yeah, a couple of them I had doulas, but she was being so much older. I had her, more than 8 years before. Like
Yeah.
I started over at 30.
Okay.
So her four siblings are much younger than her. So she watched them, be born. She was there, she watched the care that the midwives and the doulas gave me, and she was so inspired by
Mhm.
that. She had a home birth. She had a
Amazing.
Yes, she had a home birth with a home birth midwife, doula, postpartum doula. Like yeah, really, really did it right. But so for her, she's like, I want to be a doula.
I love
And so I was
it.
like, well, your last year of homeschool, let's put you through a doula program. She did a doula program, and I ended up doing it alongside her because I had already studied birth. I had done indie birth courses for
Uh-huh.
free birth. I had planned a free birth for 2020,
Oh,
although I ended up not having a free birth. But 2020 was a scary time, and I was like, I am not going to be in a hospital, and I
you're like,
couldn't find
nope.
anyone to attend me. It was crazy. Finally, at the last minute, I found someone to attend me, but that's a whole, you'll have to listen to my podcast on that
I
one.
will. I would love
Yeah, it
to.
was it was an insane time. It was like they wouldn't let husbands in the hospital. They wouldn't let midwives or doulas in the hospital. I couldn't find anybody to come out to my house to be with
Oh
me.
my
It's
gosh.
nuts. Yeah, I don't recommend having a baby in 2020. Yeah.
No, no. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so all of that to say, I did this course with her. We started a doula business, and then
Oh,
she when we started taking on a couple clients, and I was helping her, and she just got overwhelmed with business and new motherhood and everything else, and she was
wow.
like, I got to put the brakes on this. But I can't let you go. I know we're getting close to an hour here, but I can't let you go without just like touching on what you learned from that experience, because birth and witnessing and being there with a woman, it's such a transformative, like, just, I mean, really each and every birth, it's, the first one really cracks you open, but each and every birth is just such a spiritual awakening. I mean, next to entrepreneurial adventures, definitely birth was,
Very similar, right?
yeah, birth was the one that cracked me open the most. I had the most spiritual growth in my each and every birth. But I
Yep.
think that I think this entrepreneur journey I've been on this past year or so is second to that. But yeah, I would love to hear like what lessons you learned from that, or anything you'd like to share on that.
Yeah, I actually went to massage therapy school and they had a doula program and a prenatal massage therapy program at that school. And I did 1,000 hours of massage therapy training. And then I did a huge doula program. And I loved being a doula. I, it was a very magical and intense experience, as I'm sure you know. Being on call and waking up at 3 in the morning for, a baby to come. I was like blown away by what that felt like in my own body and what happens to your body when someone calls you and says that they're like going into labor. I'm just like, okay, now we're preparing. Now I'm a very calm human. So I'm like, I was a good doula and I can stay awake for long periods of time. So I loved working with those women and seeing babies come into the world. Watching women and advocating for them was absolutely life altering for me.
Mm.
I mostly did hospital births because I lived in Colorado and home birth was pretty much illegal. And so, but I had lived in California in Humboldt County prior to that. And everyone I knew, even though I was quite young, most of the women that I knew were having babies and were having home births and were having midwives and doulas. And so I was really immersed in that culture in Humboldt County. And so then when I moved to Colorado, I was like, I think I want to go and do massage therapy, and I want to have a career as a healer, and I think I want to be a doula. And so the lessons that I learned were patience, waiting,
Birth happens on its own time.
how to hold space, right? Like I think that that came really naturally for me, and when I see my chart I can see why. But I mean that came learning how to quietly hold space for a person who all of the attention was on them. And like I mean, I don't know that I have like so many words for it, but I feel like I brought that into my business. Like that, like I've always wanted to be like, I'm actually like a business midwife, right? Like I'm a doula midwife. Like that is really what I do. I help people to birth what's next in their life. And so I really feel like having that as a job, if you will, carried me all the way into this part of my life. And I consider that to be part of my whole entrepreneurial journey, was really that birthing of me, right? That birthing of me as a space holder, that birthing of me as a person who someone could throw up into my hands and I would be okay. I wouldn't even react. I would be like, okay, we're cool. Everybody's cool. I think the space holding, I think the birthing of being able to allow someone to birth their project or a baby, like they feel very similar to me. And the being able to quietly hold space with people and to shift energy, to shift the energy in a space, to shift energy in a room, that to me all carried over into everything that I do, everything that I live. I love
Mm.
to do that. After I had a baby, I was like, did like two more births, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's why it didn't really work out. I took on a postpartum client, and I really, really love postpartum work
Mhm.
because a lot of that is also like the nervous system healing and the sisterhood, and the learning to soften into your feminine and to allow others to care for you. And I absolutely loved that. But as far as like the space holding, my daughter was like, "Mom, you are the worst doula for me," because I was like such a busybody. I realized in that I was like, I'm not a good birth attendant. I'm like, can I
Hey,
get more
yeah.
water? Can I make a smoothie? Do you guys need more towels? Like, I'm very activating. And I
You
was
were
like,
like, I need to be able to sit back, actually.
I couldn't do it. I'm like, let me take a picture. Let me take another picture. Let me get a picture from this angle.
I'm dying. That is so funny.
It really showed me like it showed me a lot about myself in that
That you need to have a podcast.
yes, I'm a very activating. I like to get on
Yes.
stage. I've been a
Yeah.
poetry open mic host and performer,
Oh,
and like I'm
yeah.
very activating, but the space holding aspect of it and the like remaining calm and like I was not so great at that.
I love it. I love that. I love the knowing. I love the knowing of this. This is very good. That's so funny.
My daughter, on the other hand, opposite, very, very good at the space holding. She could sit there and like, hold your hand for hours. And yeah,
That's
my mom is a Qigong practitioner. She sat there and she created a chi field and just sat there for hours holding a chi field. I'm like, let me get up and boil some more water.
yeah. I love it. I love those conversations. Great. Yeah, I
Oh
mean, I
my
could
gosh.
sit for hours and hold somebody's hand. And
Yep.
I did postpartum birth as well. And I used to have families, they would fly me out and like have me come and stay with them. And
Yeah.
I flew to many a birth for friends and family, and would stay for 8 days or 10 days after a birth happened and take care of mommy and family. I love
That's what my postpartum doula, mine and my daughter's postpartum doula, she did the same thing. She would go for like up to 2 weeks
that.
and just, I mean, she would give her whole life to that
Mhm.
family for that week or two that she was there, cooking and cleaning and doing massage and moxibustion and everything. And yeah, she's really beautiful. She's a very good space holder as well. So yeah. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to touch on that because that yeah, it holds such a like a space in my heart too.
And it's really a part of all of this, right? Like learning how to hold space is powerful for a coaching business. You have to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I know like there was so much where we're like at the end of our time, there's so much like on your intake, which was again so beautifully written, and there was like so much juicy stuff in there, and I feel like we barely scratched the surface. We might have to do it. We might have to do a part two.
I'll come on
But
again.
is there anything else that like you're just really feeling called to share before we close it out?
The last thing that I will say is that the whole thing that I live by is that get into alignment with yourself and everything will fall into place or fall away. And I hold that to be true in almost every part of my experience thus far on this journey. When I put my blinders on sometimes in relationship and just allow myself to get into alignment with me, everything always works out
Mm.
all the way. And I don't have to try to control everything. And that's what I would like to say at the end there.
And what would be a practical tip? So for somebody that's listening, that's just like, well, how the hell do I, how the
Well,
hell
how
do
the
I do
hell do I do
that?
that? I hear
Sounds
you. I
nice.
hear you. Sit with yourself, sit quietly with yourself. Ask your essence, ask your higher self to come into your body. Ask yourself, what does alignment feel like to me? Sit with yourself, go sit by a tree, go stand outside, right? Like get into nature because we are nature and we forget that we are nature. And so, go for a walk, take it to the land. Practical tips to get into alignment, remembering who you really are.
Mm.
Right, like really like remembering that we are from oneness and that this is all just made up.
Yeah, life
Right,
school.
I mean, for real.
Yes.
Like
I
like stop taking everything so seriously.
it's the cosmic video game. Yeah.
Totally.
I've been for the last few
Get into
years.
nature.
Yeah, yeah, I've been for the last few years since I've really been on a deep spiritual exploration, like really like I see it like the video game like all right, it's time to upgrade the avatar, like what are we?
Right. That's right. This is
Yep.
all it's all just a game.
Yeah,
Or are you
yeah.
playing the game?
Yeah. Awesome. Oh my gosh, I have loved this conversation so much, and I am positive that we could keep going for another hour, but I
Oh,
like
for
to
sure.
I know. We barely scratched the surface, dang it. But yes, I'd like to keep my podcast at about an hour. So,
I appreciate that.
any last words? How to get in touch with you? Anything you have coming up that you want to? The podcast will probably be going out in probably about no. Actually, I'm bumping yours ahead. Yes,
Oh,
because it actually aligns with something that the next thing I'm putting out there in the world.
awesome.
March 18th, I am doing a workshop on cycle syncing for sustainable productivity, which
Amazing.
is something that I have been working with to combat that feeling of burnout in my business, is actually aligning my business with my cycle and honoring my need for rest around my bleed week, becoming more visible during my ovulation week. And even if you're post-menopause, like that, or you've had a hysterectomy, or for whatever reason you're not menstruating anymore, you actually still sync up with the moon. So as like a female-bodied person, you actually are still cyclical, even if you're not cycling anymore. So, this
Mhm.
alignment, you can either align with your menstrual cycle or with the cycles of the moon. And so, it's like slowing down, listening to your intuition, listening to your body, honoring what your body needs. So yeah, I was actually going to push yours ahead because I feel like this conversation lines up perfectly.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Exactly. So for that week. But yeah, so if you have anything that is coming out around mid-March or later,
Yeah.
that you want to
Love
invite my
it.
audience into.
I love it. Well, I actually do have a membership, and we do a quarterly call at the very beginning of April. So that will be coming up. And that is like a CEO, like business, but energetics. Okay. So, like, I am always going to bring energetics to the business because I find that my healers do not like to do business like regular folks. Okay. We don't like
The
regular
masculine way, you mean?
advice, right? We don't like that. We don't like it. We don't like it. We like repel it. And so energetics are all, that is what I'm all about. I absolutely am all about our cycles for sure. So rhythm is everything, right? So my CEO business quarterly is a great space to come into if you're looking at your next 90 days. And I have a free Facebook community. It's the Abundant Healer Collective, and I'm on Facebook. And you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok sometimes. Just depends on my mood.
Yeah, I haven't really figured out the whole TikTok thing. I don't know if it's like generation, like maybe like our generation is not as hip on it doesn't make as much sense to
Sure.
me. I have not cracked that algorithm.
Well, I like have been working with a TikTok person, and I like love this person deeply, and she has taught me how to do TikTok. So
Oh.
taught me how to like be on TikTok. Now, I just was going through like all of that like stuff with my kids. So I like was like,
Mm.
this TikTok has got to hold off. But I'll come back because I like doing it. It's fun. It's
Is
fun.
it that that's what people keep telling me and I haven't quite figured it out. I'll have to
I'm
I'm so
still
much
figuring it out.
yeah, I'm so much more comfortable on Facebook because like yeah,
It's Gen
the
X.
internet wasn't even like a thing when I was a kid. So it's all yeah. Okay, so I will link to your group. I will link to your upcoming quarterly workshop. And
Awesome.
anything else you've got going on will be in the show notes, how to
Thank
get in touch with you
you.
if anybody wants to work with you. And I am very serious about getting that chart read because I am always so into like learning more about myself and the idea of bringing that in that path, that karmic path and like seeing it and seeing how that
Yes.
like aligns with the other charts I've had done. I'm yeah, super excited about that. Thank you so much. This has been
Thank
such a
you.
fun conversation. Ah.
Very fun. Thank you so much for having me.